Welcome to this explainer. Let's just dive right in today because we've got a truly powerful parable to unpack, a story that gets right down to the absolute core of the human experience. We're going to look at how our internal state, our mindset and our deepest beliefs, literally alters our experience of the external world. It is a fascinating look at the lens through which we view reality itself.
So, think about this for a second. If two people visit the exact same place, how is it possible that one experiences heaven while the other goes through a living hell? To solve this mystery, we're going to follow two men who set out on a journey for pleasure and business. They walk the exact same roads, but as you'll see, they step into two diametrically opposed realities.
Now, the absolute crucial point before these guys even pack their bags or take a single step is their fundamental nature. Our first traveler, he is weighed down by deep pessimism. He's selfish, conceited, and entirely self-centered. But his companion is anchored by devoutness, fair-mindedness, and fine morals. This internal starting point is literally everything. It's the filter they slap over their eyes before they even look out at the world.
Okay, let's tag along with the first man. Driven by all that internal pessimism, he walks into a new country. And what does he see? He perceives this unbelievably wicked, terrifying land. Everywhere he looks, he sees powerless, unfortunate people crying out because they're trapped by fearsome, bullying tyrants. The reality he constructs in his own head is just one of absolute despair and destruction.
The source text actually puts it like this: the whole country took on the form of a house of mourning. Everywhere this pessimistic guy looks, he sees horrible corpses and weeping orphans. It's a reality so grim, so painful, that his conscience is just tormented. To escape it, he actually turns to drunkenness, just trying to numb himself to this horrible illusion he's surrounded by. To him, everyone is an enemy. It's like he's wearing permanently distorted glasses that only let him see despair. Kind of like someone determined to leave a miserable one-star review on what's actually a beautiful five-star resort.
All right, let's shake off that gloom for a second because we're following the second man into the exact same country. And look at his arrival. Because of his fair-minded and godly nature, he sees a land of universal rejoicing. Everywhere he looks, there's this joyful festival overflowing with rapture and happiness. Where the first man saw enemies, this second man looks around and literally everyone seems like a friend or family member to him.
Instead of the sounds of mourning, he hears a totally different symphony. The text says, throughout the country, he saw the festive celebrations of a general discharge from duties. He hears bands playing, drums beating for the enlistment of soldiers, and happy calls of God is most great. He sees people joyfully wrapping up their work, being discharged with cheers. And because he feels so secure, he actually does profitable trade and gives thanks. He's just thrilled by his own joy and the joy of everyone around him.
Putting these side by side brilliantly captures the whole tension of our story, right? Mourning versus celebration, enemies versus friends, torment versus joy. How on earth can two people see such wildly different things while standing in the exact same spot? It's a profound shift in perspective, entirely dictated by the baggage they brought with them on the inside.
Which brings us to the reunion and the revelation, confronting the internal ugliness.
So these two men eventually cross paths again, and the fortunate, happy man looks at his former traveling companion and immediately recognizes his miserable condition. He tells him straight up, "You were out of your mind." See, the first man wasn't seeing reality at all. He was hallucinating his own internal ugliness right onto the world. Because he was pessimistic and self-centered, he literally imagined that people laughing were actually weeping and that joyful celebrations were pillaging. But the godly man doesn't just leave him hanging. He gives him a direct, step-by-step path to fix this broken perspective. 1. Come to your senses. 2. Purify your heart. That lets you, 3, lift that calamitous veil of pessimism from your eyes. And finally, 4, see the truth. He logically points out that a country run by a perfectly just, compassionate king could never possibly be the nightmare the first man imagined.
And guess what? It works. The first man finally wakes up. He comes to his senses and repents. He admits that his own internal state, his intoxication with his own negativity, was the sole architect of his personal hell. He actually thanks his friend, saying, "May God be pleased with you. You have saved me from a hellish state." He realizes his entire terrifying experience was nothing but a projection.
Now, let's look at unlocking the metaphor and translating this parable to our own reality.
So, what does all this actually mean for us today? This isn't just some fairy tale, it's a massive commentary on how we experience the world every single day.
The travelers represent the unbeliever or the heedless person, and the believer. The country they're visiting? Well, that's simply the world itself. To the unbeliever, the world is a house of universal mourning, but to the believer, it's a place of instruction and a purposeful field of examination.
Notice how the exact same event, say death, is viewed through these two lenses. To the unbeliever, it's a terrifying blow, violently ripping beings apart and leaving them behind as orphans. But the believer understands it completely differently. It's simply a peaceful demobilization, like a soldier finishing a long tour of duty, joyously departing to a happy world to make room for new officials to step up and work.
Even their basic perception of nature flips entirely. To a pessimistic, unbelieving mind, mighty things like mountains and oceans are just horrendous, lifeless corpses, which is a crushing, terrifying delusion. But to the believer, nature is absolutely alive with purpose. Those same mountains and oceans, they are amicable officials, friendly servants, and sweet, agreeable books of the Lord, just waiting to be read. This entire perspective builds into a comprehensive worldview. For the believer, reality is absolutely packed with purpose. Births aren't just random biological events, they are joyful enlistments into an army of life. Every living being is seen as an honest, contented official with a specific job to do. And the voices of the world, they aren't cries of pain, they're songs of gratitude, joy, and glorification. It's a mindset that reveals exalted, sweet truths literally everywhere you look.
Which brings us to the ultimate conclusion. The text explicitly tells us, belief in God bears the seed of what is in effect a tuba tree of paradise, meaning a heavenly tree of boundless abundance, while unbelief conceals the seed of a Zacchaeum tree of hell, that bitter, thorny tree of despair. The core message here is that your internal belief system is literally a seed. Whatever you hold inside grows into the reality you have to walk through every single day. You are carrying your own heaven or your own hell within you, long before you even interact with the outside world.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this provocative question to chew on. Knowing that your internal state projects directly onto the world around you, when you look at the challenges, the people, and the environments in your own life, which seed are you cultivating? Which tree are you planting today? Thank you so much for joining me on this journey, and I really hope this helps you look at your own perspective in a brand new light.